Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh or Milky, and in this video we're going to talk about Trial of the Ancestors. Now we're not going to go over the basics. There's plenty of videos of people go underlying the basics of the mechanic, but I today have climbed up to 513 ranking. I've actually completed already the end game grind for this mechanic, which is to win 150 matches above 250 ranking. So I've been doing a lot of this mechanic. I've learned a lot. I have some doubts about how good this mechanic is going to be, but don't let that ruin anything for you if you're having a good time, because I certainly was. It was good, but when I kind of tot up everything I made over like 12 hours, it was probably close to like maybe 12 divs, which, you know, compared to the stuff you'd normally be farming, isn't all that brilliant, really. But it was a good time, and the things I did drop, first of all, Warrior's Tale. This jewel is phenomenal. There are plenty of things you can do with this. This isn't going to be a deep dive video, but there's a lot of things you can do with this, including like the +1 proj node and all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of slots where you can actually fit it with a jewel. This one's an example here. Look, I could actually put one in my build to get +2 projectiles by tattooing this node. So this jewel is really cool. It's called the Warrior's Tale. I also had it slotted up here earlier, and it ends up giving me, you know, what would it be? Does it show me? No, it doesn't. When I But it increases like global defenses, I have life, reservation, stuff like that. I was just messing about and throwing stuff on. You can also drop these +1 decks in strength. All these awesome tattoos that go for a few divs each. I did drop quite a few of those. I think I got 4 in total. And the jewel, those were the highlights. Everything else was kind of just like pennies, like, you know, a couple of chaos, a couple of fusing tier, chromatics, all that kind of stuff. But I will say, once I passed 250, which is the requirement for the endgame grind, I haven't noticed any kind of stark difference in the rewards that I'm getting. I thought I kind of had an idea that maybe per 100 rating, it was like an increase to the stack size or something like that, but it doesn't seem to work that way. So it seems almost like you kind of get punished for going up, because it does seem to get more difficult, but you don't actually seem to get more rewards. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep going up. Maybe it does start to get better, but I haven't noticed it yet, and the rewards are quite lackluster. And on top of that, you obviously have to micromanage a lot. So you'll do a run, you'll get your favor, and you have to go find all the guys. At this point, I know where they all are and you know what units they have. But as you're getting started, you're going to be trying to find, oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Is this the one I need? It's going to be really annoying. So the first thing I will say, if you're going to do this mechanic a lot, is to learn, you know, the factions, where they are, what units they sell. Try and like remember that as you go, otherwise it's going to get quite frustrating. Next is the sponsors. So you could you could focus on the rewards on the right here. It's definitely an option. Sometimes you don't want to do that though, and I'll tell you the 2 reasons why. One is, if you were to only focus on the rewards, that as you improve the ranking, it's going to get more and more difficult, and you're going to miss this sponsors. You're going to miss this the value that they have in allowing you to get more units. And you're going to lose, because if the opponent's got like 5 more units than you, you need a really good build to compensate for that. So my build isn't good enough to do that. Maybe I just feel this way because of the build I'm playing. But if I'm not buying units and the opponent has like 10, I'm screwed, right? I have 4, they have 10. It's just over. It doesn't matter what I do unless I have an absolutely insane build. And these things do get tremendously tanky. I'll show you in a run in a second. Next is one key component that I have noticed that makes runs a lot easier. When you fight an opponent, the sponsors that they have will not change. So the sponsors, the people that are sponsoring them, so in this case, the Ramako, the Nagamahu, and the Valako tribe, they will still be sponsoring this fighter on the next fight. So it's double elimination, right? You have to beat everybody twice. So try and fight people that you can fight twice who have good sponsors, because that way you will get more of a specific sponsor. So if I was to fight a Kawa right now, I could beat her. I'll actually show you. We'll go against her. We'll do a run through. I'm not going to cut this up, so I'm sorry if it's a little bit long. I will add a timestamp to where I'm done with this. Just quickly, one thing I will say is I only really focus on attack, flankers, and escort. I don't put anything in defense except for one specific unit, which is the fire unit that explodes himself. And then basically you just gun down the enemy. You just run into battle, try and like taunt everything. One thing I will say is, yeah, these things do a lot of damage later on. But you basically just want to like run in and distract all the mobs, group them all up, and then let your guys go to work. At this point, you're basically a spectator because the mobs are so crazy, like so crazy tanky that, at least for me, like I don't really get to do that much. I just kind of, you know, mess around in the back here. Keep an eye on the mobs. Try not to get interrupted as much as possible, and you'll be good to go. As you see, just dance around with them. Like, as long as it's not a range mob, just keep running around and like hitting the towers. And you can see I've almost won already. There's 4 towers. You can actually see when your tower's being hit. Keep an eye out for that. You can go back and just, you know, give them a little poke and let them know what's up, and then come back over here and start popping off. That's something I do quite often. And a lot of the time it comes down to a base race. I just commit to it. I'm like, okay, my tower might die, but I have like 9 more units than you, so I'm just gonna die and let my guys finish off. And this is essentially it. This is arguably like a normal run. Like, all you're doing is running in, distracting all the mobs, and then left clicking and channeling for the rest of the encounter. So not the most fun, but I don't know, maybe you like that. So you'll see that we got, if you see in the bottom right here, we got Nagamahu, Valako, and Ramako. That's who we spoke about, right? And if we go to that opponent again, which was Akayo, she's got the same again, look, Ramako, Nagamahu, and Valako. So those more expensive units that are going to be on the vendor for these people. We have Thunderbird, that's 800. We could get that. We can sell a unit to get it. Calm, he has things like the Ravager. He also has like a Firemonger. So you can't actually get these initially. And selling too many units, having like 4 good units isn't always better than having like 10 weak units. Sometimes you just need that fodder to get in the way or to be attacking the opponent. So this is a pretty important thing, and it's something that's made my runs a lot better. Is doing this. It's killing the person, fighting the person, sorry, who has not lost yet. This is the marking that shows whether they've lost or not yet. So we're going to fight Akawa again, get the same ones, and we'll be able to buy the more expensive units. So definitely be doing that. Outside of that, there's really not that much depth to this mechanic that I've seen so far. I know last league I did this with Crucible, and I kind of figured a bit out. But this time around, it just doesn't seem like there's a whole amount of depth to it. It just seems like buy your units, pop off, win, get some shoddy loot, and go again. And when you win the tournament, obviously you get some nicer loot. If you don't win, then you don't get any loot. You can still gain ranking. If you come at least 5th, you always gain ranking. But anything less than that, you are going to lose ranking. But I hope this scales better. I'm kind of making this vid because I'm a bit worried. I've obviously played it a lot. I'm a bit tired. Maybe I'm just like being a bit mardy, but I'm a bit worried about it. It's good. It's okay fun. You could see the gameplay there. At this stage, it's just me left clicking towers. I don't really do anything else. It's not like interactive. The mob either one shots me or I run away from it. That's what a lot of these mobs do. So yeah, that is the mechanic at this point. That's what I've discovered so far. If this is your kind of thing, don't let me detract that from you. As I say, I've been doing it a lot. I'm not having a bad time. But just in terms of like being competitive as a mechanic, it's not quite there. So I hope GGG maybe have a little look, or I hope that I'm missing something. That is the preferred choice, that they got it right and I'm just missing something. But who knows? We'll see. Anyway, peace.